السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. So today is the beginning of a new month, and as usual, at each beginning of a month, we look at the names of Allah Azza wa Jal, the 99 names, where we choose one and we try to give more insights about it. So today's name of Allah that we chose is Al-Alim, the knowledgeable. And it's a very beautiful name if you understand it well. It has an impact on your daily life, and it's just an amazing concept. And I'll get more into it. In fact, Allah Azza wa Jal, He talks about it in Surah Al-An'am, verse number 59, when He says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, with Him are the keys of the unseen. No one knows them except Him, and He knows what is in the land and sea. Not even a leaf falls without His knowledge, nor a grain in the darkness of the earth or anything, green or dry, but it is written in a perfect record. So this is such a beautiful ayah because it sums up Al-Alim in such a beautiful way. It has mainly, if you want to resume it or do a briefing, it sums up 5 points about Al-Alim, the name Al-Alim. And the first one is the absolute knowledge of the unseen. Allah Azza wa Jal has an absolute knowledge of the unseen, meaning He knows everything regardless of the time, whether it's in the past, present, or future. He already knows it. And this includes also matters of the hereafter and things that humans cannot understand. So it's not only what humans can see and perceive. There's things obviously that we still don't know about. Like for example, in the universe, in the space, you hear these scientists saying there's still a lot of unexplored areas. Well, Allah knows all about all of these things, and of course He created them. So He is Al-Alim. He knows about all of them. Number 2 is comprehending everything in the universe. So Allah Azza wa Jal, He understands everything regardless of the place, whether it's, as the ayah mentions it, whether it's sea or land. So the place is irrelevant for His knowledge. He knows everything everywhere. For example, today's scientists, they'll tell you there's still big parts of the ocean that are unexplored. Imagine we have all this technological advancement. Science is at the top currently. It's going very fast, yet there's still parts of the earth that we have not explored. But Allah is Al-Alim, and He already knows about all of these places and what's down there and the creatures that are down there. Another point is the fine details of the smallest things. And again, subhanAllah, currently we're in autumn, and when you look around, you see all these beautiful trees with different colors, and you see the leaves falling. Well, the ayah says, and not a leaf falls, but that He knows it. Imagine if you decide to take a day off with a friend or a son or whatever, and you decide to count the number of leaves in your backyard that fell from a tree, one tree. How long would that take you? And even if you spend the entire day, or even I don't know how long it will take you, you will not have an exact number, because remember, there's some leaves that can go to your neighbor's house. There's some leaves that would just, like, I don't know, go far. So you will put so much effort into counting the leaves, and you won't even get the exact answer. The ayah says Allah knows every leaves that fall down from a tree. And in the example that I gave you, I'm talking about your own backyard. But Allah doesn't know just about your own backyard. He knows in the entire of Laval, of Canada, of the world. Every single leaf, imagine, every single leaf in the world He is aware of. SubhanAllah. Number 4, the knowledge surrounding living and inanimate things. So His knowledge is not only about inanimate things like the leaves I gave as an example earlier. He knows every single thing about humans as well. In fact, He knows for example, He knows me, Mustapha, even before I was born. Many years ago, He knows that there will be a human being called Mustapha. He will come on earth. He will live this many years. He will live in this place, and he will die in this place. And this knowledge also applies to inanimate things. There's rocks on earth that have been here for millions of years. He knows about every single one of them. Subhanallah. So amazing. Subhanallah. And number five, and this is at the end of the ayah where he says, he mentions that except in a clear book, meaning that every single piece of information that he knows, or all the information that he knows, is in a clear book. It's written, as we know this term. Everything is written. Subhanallah. And there's more to this aspect of, or to this name, Al-Alim. Especially when it comes to your personal life, it can have an impact. When you understand that Allah is Al-Alim, it has a great impact on your life. So we'll go over them now. For example, number one, it will foster righteousness and commitment. So when you behave in your day-to-day life, whether it's at work, at school, or with your family, when you understand that you are being seen by Allah Azza wa Jal, your behavior will change. Will you ever think about cheating on a test, or cheating a person, or lying, or doing any type of sin when you know that someone is watching you? I'm not even mentioning Allah yet. I'm just saying a person. If you see a human in front of you watching you, are you going to think about doing anything wrong? Well, forget about humans. I'm telling you, He sees every single thing you do every day, at any moment. He even sees what's inside your heart, your intentions. And subhanAllah, Allah is so merciful that He knows every single intention, bad or good. And when you have a good intention, even if you don't commit it or do the act, He will reward you. And when you have a bad intention, as long as you don't commit it, He doesn't punish you for it. SubhanAllah. And a very simple example of this is, imagine you're driving your car on the street and you don't want to stop, you don't like to stop at stop signs, but you see on the corner a cop car. How will you react? How do you behave when you're driving? Your entire, you shift, you become a different person, a new driver if you want. And you wouldn't even think about doing anything wrong. Well, this should be your behavior in every action you do in your life. Because the true faith, it's said in one of the hadith, true faith is when you behave or when you understand, it's when you do an act as if you can see Allah Azza wa Jal. And when you know that every single thing you do is seen by Him. Number two, confidence and reassurance. We pass through a lot of moments in our lives where you go through a difficult times and you say, why am I going through this? You have this doubt inside of you, you become negative, but then you have to understand that Allah knows what you're going through, and not only does He knows it, but He knows what is best for you. So when you understand this concept in every single aspect of your life, then you'll have this type of confidence or reassurance, even in those difficult scenarios, difficult moments, whether it's at work, at school, with your family. You'll have this type of reassurance because you know that at the end of the day, Allah knows it and He is preparing something good for you. Number three, thoughtfulness in decision making. So when you want to make a decision, Allah, for example, you might rely on yourself too much. You'll go on the internet, try to do some research to make an informed decision. This is what most people do nowadays, informed decisions, even in great companies. No decision is taken without doing some research. But we have an advantage over this concept of informed decision, as Muslims I'm talking. It's that we understand, as I mentioned before, that Allah only wants what's good for you. And He knows what is good for you. So for example, we have something called Salat al-Istikhara, the prayer of Istikhara. It's basically when you go do a prayer and you ask for Allah's help in a difficult moment or a difficult decision. And in that Salat, there's a dua where it's said, Anta ta'lamu wa la a'lam. Oh Allah, you know and I don't know. You can do as much research as you want. You can be 100% convinced that this specific thing is good for you and this is what you want. But at the end of the day, you don't really know it, because Allah knows what you really need and He knows what you really want at that specific time, and He will get it for you, inshallah. You just have to be patient and to be confident about it. And number four is devotion and love during worship. So when you're going through a difficult time and you can't really talk to anyone, not even your brother, your wife, your friends, you have to keep it to yourself. You feel this pressure inside of you and you can't let it out. Well, you know at the end that Allah Azza wa Jal knows what's in your heart. He knows what you're going through. And this creates a bond or a loving bond between you and Allah because you feel His presence, you feel like He's with you at these difficult times. So understanding that Allah is Al-Alim and that He has a lot, He knows everything about you will create this love bond and devotion when you're worshiping Him. So your prayer, for example, you will do it with more love. You will want to pray. You want to have that connection again because you can't speak to anyone except Allah Azza wa Jal through prayers, of course, and dua. And a point that I want to mention, this is especially true nowadays with what we're seeing in the Middle East, whether it's Gaza or Lebanon. You see these people, let's call them these bad people, they're plotting. They have these plans against Muslims. They want to go further and expand, and they want to do this and that. And they do this, they have the best intelligence in the world. They go in the most secret locations, under a bunker, many doors, closed room, and they'll start plotting and working their ways. Well, for Allah Azza wa Jal, this is as if they're sitting in a glass box. Because no matter what they're doing, He can see through them exactly. He even knows what they don't know yet. He knows what's their future plan. And of course, these people are called al-makirin. He knows them and He will not let them succeed. So when you see these scenes in the Middle East where you feel like you're overwhelmed and you're weak, and they have the best technology and they have the best plans, the money, everything, remember that everything they're doing is seen by Allah Azza wa Jal, and they will not succeed with it. They might have some small victories here and there, but on the long term, we know who's gonna win. And last but not least, I want to conclude also from the scenes we see in Gaza, subhanAllah, or Lebanon, especially Gaza, we see people coming out right after an airstrike. They'll come out filled with dust, and they're in a very bad situation, looking for their family. They know that their mother died, their brother died. They're hurt. I saw a video of a guy. He came out of the recent explosion. He said his family died, but he came out. The first thing that he says in front of the camera is Alhamdulillah. This has many aspects of faith, but I want to focus on Al-Alim here. Why would he say Alhamdulillah after going through such a difficult situation? He knows that Allah is Al-Alim. He knows that Allah is seeing what he is going through. At that specific moment, he was caught on video. But we know many people that they had it worst, but nobody saw it on video. Maybe nobody knows about it. SubhanAllah, it happened and nobody knows about it. But they have this reassurance, as I mentioned. So it makes them more resilient and it increases their faith. So these things that you might not even see in films or in Hollywood, we're seeing them in real life. Why? Because they are Muslims. Alhamdulillah. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نستغفرك ونتوب إليك وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. السلام عليكم.